So when you were looking at the first graph in this graph interpretation activity, you were probably thinking, oh, I get it. In the late 1800s and through the 1900s, there were thermometers around our planet. So it was time consuming, but easy to get an average global temperature. People had written records of that. But then we get to the other graph, the second graph. So how would we know temperatures 450,000 years ago? And the answer to that is actually right here. So, a few summers ago, I had an opportunity to study a little bit at Ohio State. And Ohio State has the largest collection of ice cores anywhere on the planet. And you might be thinking, well, what's an ice core? Well, here's the deal: scientists drill down and they take out a core of ice. And this is not like taking ice from Buckeye Lake when it freezes for a couple weeks in the winter. This would be places that are either near the poles or really high altitude at the top of mountains where you don't have melting. And so what you end up getting is this data that's preserved within the ice. Now, I think honestly, this is just a little rust off the tube. So don't worry about that. But now this is actually an ice core underneath a microscope. And so when you look at that with me, do you notice some spots where the layers of ice look really thick? Okay, so like here, here looks thick to me. And then the opposite is also true. See how you have some very, very skinny layers all through. And so maybe you already know this, but how tree rings can be used. The size of the ring tells precipitation and growth amounts in those years. It's kind of like that. Each little line you see here is how much ice was added within 1 year. Okay, so now if you think about the question that you're answering, you have a question that says this, that scientists use what? They use ice cores to determine the temperature long ago. Now let's think about this. If a layer is thick, what does that mean? Well, that would translate to a cold period because there's more buildup of ice. And if a layer is thin, it would translate to a warm period. And scientists then use math to figure out the exact temperatures it would have been. So the key idea here is scientists aren't guessing about temperatures in the past. They are using data and ice cores in the thickness of the layers to figure it out.